Hello everyone, I Anu Goyal welcome all of you once again in the video lecture of Communication Engineering. Subject code is KEC 401. In the last video lecture we have discussed about what is communication, what do we understand by the term communication, what is signal, what is system, what is the need of signal and system in communication. Today we will discuss and will study about the different types of signals and their representation in time domain, in frequency domain, some useful signals, and then we will understand what is the meaning of modulation and how we can implement modulation in communication system. Starting with the types of signals, the two main type of signals are digital signal and analog signal. Analog signals are the continuous signal that changes over a time period. They can take infinite value in a given range, while the digital signals are discrete in nature and then they can take only limited number of values in a given range. Let us understand some more kind of signals. They can be classified as, the first one is deterministic and probabilistic signal. What is deterministic and probabilistic signal? A deterministic signal is a signal the behavior of which is predictable and we can exactly determine the value of those signal and their behavior remains certain in a given range of time. That means we can mathematically represent these signals. These deterministic signals can be characterized completely mathematically. While on the other hand, the probabilistic signal or the random signals are the signals the behavior of which is uncertain. They are not predictable. The next category of the signals is continuous time and discrete time signals. Continuous time signals are the signals which are continuous in nature, while the discrete time signals are the signals which are discrete in nature. That means they can take only limited values or the discrete values over a given range. The next category of the signal is periodic and aperiodic signal. What is the meaning of periodic signal? A signal is said to be periodic if it repeats itself over a finite time interval, while a signal is said to be aperiodic if it does not repeat itself over a finite time of interval. The next category of signal is energy signal and power signal. We can categorize periodic signals as a power signal in general, and while the real signals are known to be as a energy signals. A signal can be either energy signal or power signal. If a signal is energy signal, then it will have zero power, while if a signal is a power signal, then its energy will be infinite. The next category of the signal is causal and anti-causal. A signal is said to be causal if t is less than 0. For t less than 0, the causal signals are 0, while anti-causal signals will be 0 for t greater than 0. The next category of signal is even and odd signal. A signal can be defined as even signal if we can represent signal mathematically like this, where x of minus t is equals to xt, then the signal is said to be even signal, while if x naught t is equals to minus of x of minus t, then the signal is said to be odd signals. Other than these these six different classification of signals, we may have some more categories of signal that we will study later. Now these are the some useful signals that will help us to understand and to mathematically represent the different masses signal or the information one will study the communication system. So the first one is unit step function. This is the graphical representation of unit step function. How we can define unit step function? A signal is said to be a unit step signal if t greater than 0, then its value is equals to unity. For t less than 0, the signal is equals to 0. So in this way we can represent our unit step function, which will exist when the value of t is greater than 0. The second important signal is unit impulse signal, delta function or the direct function. What is unit impulse function? How we can define unit impulse function? This function is defined as 0 for t not equals to 0. Whenever the time period t is not equals to 0, the signal does not exist. The signal's value is equals to 0. While this unit impulse function or the delta function is equals to infinity for t is equals to 0. Now how we can represent this direct function or the delta function graphically? It can be represented graphically with the help of an arrow pointing towards the infinity at and at t is equals to 0. Here at t is equals to 0, the area of this signal is equal to its length, or vice versa. What we can say, the length of this unit impulse function is equal to its area, which is generally equals to 1. So we can say this delta function or the direct function exists only when t is equals to 0. Now the question comes, we have understood what is communication, what is signal, what is system, what is the role of signal and system in communication. The signal is the mathematical representation of the masses or the information. Now when we used to transmit our information from one point to another point, we need to analyze this information. So we can do this analysis with the help of signal analysis. The signal analysis we can perform in two ways. What are the two ways that we can perform this analysis? In time domain and in frequency domain. What is time domain analysis and what is frequency domain analysis? What is the basic difference between these two types of analysis? A time domain analysis is the analysis where the output or where the response of the system is represented with respect to its time, or what we can say where the amplitude of the signal varies with respect to time. Then this kind of analysis or the representation comes under the category of time domain analysis. The second one, that is frequency domain analysis. Here the amplitude or the response of the system is represented, or we can say frequency domain analysis is a plot of the amplitude of the signal versus frequency. So what is the basic difference between these two types of analysis? The output or the amplitude of the signal varies with respect to time in case of time domain analysis, while the same will vary with respect to frequency in frequency domain analysis. Now the question comes, we can perform both time domain analysis of the signal and frequency domain analysis of the signal. Which will be helpful for us or which will be easier for us to do? Both types of analysis will have their own advantages and disadvantages. In communication system, it is more easier to do frequency domain analysis of a signal rather than time domain analysis of a signal. So generally the signals are we used to present signals in time domain analysis. What happens if we are having a signal in time domain and we want to perform its frequency domain analysis? Then it can be done after converting a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. So, how we can convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal with the help of Fourier transform. A time domain signal can be converted into a frequency domain signal by taking its Fourier transform. The Fourier transform and the Fourier series, these two will help us to convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. Let us understand this conversion of time domain signal into a frequency domain signal in detail. So, what is frequency domain representation of a signal? As we have discussed, it refers to the analysis of a mathematical function or signals with respect to frequency rather than time. A spectrum of the frequency component is the frequency domain representation of the signal. A signal can be converted between the time and frequency domains with a pair of mathematical operator called a transform. The Fourier transform converts the time domain signal into a frequency domain signal, while the inverse Fourier transform converts the frequency domain signal back into the time domain signal. This is the mathematical equation with the help of which we can convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal by taking its Fourier transform. So, this is for continuous signal. If our signal is continuous in nature, then we used to take or we use this mathematical equation to convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal, and this equation to convert back frequency domain signal into a time domain signal, that is called as inverse Fourier transform. Now, if our signal is not continuous in nature and it is discrete in nature, then we can also convert a discrete time signal into a frequency domain signal. For a continuous time domain signal, we used to take Fourier transform. Let us check what are the other kinds of Fourier transform for continuous time domain signal and for discrete time domain signal. So, Fourier transform is a transform that used to convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. Now, in time domain signal, my signal can be a continuous signal or it can be a discrete signal. So, if a signal is continuous and periodic, then I need to take its or I need to represent my signal with the help of Fourier series. If my signal is continuous and aperiodic in nature, then I need to take Fourier transform of that signal to convert it into the frequency domain. If my signal is discrete in nature, then I need to take discrete time Fourier transform of the signal, or the discrete Fourier transform of the signal, the reverse of which can be inverse discrete Fourier transform or the fast Fourier transform. So, with the help of these transforms, we can convert a continuous time signal and a discrete time signal into a frequency domain. So, frequency domain analysis is an alternative representation and characterization of signal which gives us more flexibility to analyze the signals in a easier way. We can do the analysis of the signals of high frequency with the help of this frequency domain analysis in a more accurate manner. So, much more information we can extract about the signal with the help of frequency domain representation. Many operations that are complicated in time domain, they becomes easier and simpler when we do the analysis of the same signal in frequency domain. So, that is why there is a need to convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. These are the two important conversion of the sine and cosine function from time domain to frequency domain. These two conversions we will be using in our coming unit to represent our signal graphically. So, first signal, that is cos omega naught t. What will be the Fourier transform pair of this cos omega naught t? That is pi of del, which is unit impulse function or the direct function, omega minus omega naught plus del of omega plus omega naught. The Fourier transform pair of the sine omega naught t can be given with this expression, which is j pi of del omega plus omega naught minus del of omega minus omega naught. So, here if the frequency is represented, what is omega? It is nothing, it is just the frequency, which is equals to 2 pi ft. So, omega we can define is equals to 2 pi ft. So, instead of omega, if we are using our expression in terms of frequency, so what will be the Fourier transform pair of cos 2 pi fct and sin 2 pi fct? It can be represented like half of del f minus fc plus del of f plus fc. Similarly, for sin 2 pi fct, we can calculate the Fourier transform with the help of the expression that we have just seen in the previous slide, which will be equals to 1 upon 2j del of f minus fc minus del of f plus fc. So, in the coming units or in the coming video lectures, we will use this transformation for cos and sine signal for representing these two time domain signal into frequency domain signal and to perform the analysis of the signals. This is the graphical representation of the cosine signal in time domain and in frequency domain. So, we know what is a cosine function. It is a periodic waveform. Cos and sine is a periodic waveform. We can represent cosine waveform in time domain with the help of this graph or this waveform. After taking its Fourier transform, this signal will convert from time domain to frequency domain. This is the frequency domain representation of the cosine signal. So, now if we want to represent our signal graphically, then it can be represented with the help of this graph, where how we have represented, how we have made this graph 1 upon 2 del f minus fc plus del f plus fc. So, this expression is having two parts. The amplitude of this is equals to 1 by 2. Whatever written along with the function in front of the function is the amplitude of that particular function. The amplitude of this expression is 1 by 2. We have mentioned it as 1 by 2. Now, we know what is this? This is the unit impulse function, delta function. How we have defined delta function? It exists only when t is equals to 0. So, del f minus fc, when this function will exist? It will exist at f is equals to fc. Similarly, when del of f plus fc will exist? It will exist at f is equals to minus of fc. So, after identifying where my delta function or the unit impulse function is existing, I can represent them graphically. At f is equals to fc, the length of this function is equal to 1 by 2, which is the amplitude of this expression. At f is equals to minus fc, here the length of this function, unit impulse function, is also 1 by 2. So, in this way we can represent a time domain signal, that is a cosine waveform, into a frequency domain signal. This is the frequency spectrum of a simple periodic cosine waveform. So, this representation, the kind of this representation also we are going to use in our coming video lectures. So, it will be very helpful for us to understand when we will represent our massive signal, our modulated signal or the demodulated signal in time domain and in frequency domain. Moving forward, now let us start with the main subject, that is communication engineering. Till now what we were discussing about the general, in general, what is communication, what is signal, what is system, what are the ways we can do the what are the ways in which we can do the analysis of the signals. Now all those things we are going to apply when we are actually going to perform communication from one point to another point. So, this is the basic block diagram of our communication system. The very first component of this communication system is the information or the message signal. This input message or the information or the information that we want to convey from one point to another point can be in the form of a speech signal, it can be in the form of audio signal, it can be in the form of video signal, it can be a data, it can be a picture, it can be a text, it can be anything. So, what are the various form of this message signal? It can be audio, it can be a text, it can be a video, it can be anything. So, this is the raw form of the information, but we cannot directly communicate an audio signal, a text, a video or a picture directly to the another point. It is not compatible to communicate directly to the another point. So, these are the physical form of the information. The next component of this communication system is input transducer. What is the function of this input transducer? The function of the transducer is to convert the physical energy into an electrical signal. Here what we have the information in the form of physical signal, which is not compatible to communicate directly. So, first we need to convert this physical signal into a suitable form to communicate further. So, the function of this transducer is nothing, is just to convert the physical signal into an electrical signal. After getting the output in the form of electrical signal, the next component of the communication system is transmitter. Transmitter is not a single entity, it is composed of modulator and sometimes amplifier and some more components. The all processing of my information that is now converted into the form of electrical signal will be processed at this block. This is the very important block of the communication system, where all the processing of the signal will be done before sending it to the receiver or it to the channel. So, at the transmitter we need to perform the modulation of the signal What is modulation? This electrical signal or the masses or the information is generally a low frequency signal which is not compatible to communicate directly over long distances. So, we cannot send directly the information, the raw information to the far away point. we need to perform the modulation. What is modulation? The modulation is a process of converting a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal so that we can send it over the long distances. So, the modulation, which is a very important part of the transmitter, will be done, that we are going to discuss in the coming slides also in detail what is modulation. After modulating the signal or the information, that is to after converting a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal, we transmit the signal over the channel. Channel is the transmitting medium which is used to transmit the signals. In the channel, while my signal travel through the channel, noise, which is unwanted quantity, gets added to the information. What is noise? It is noise is nothing. Noise is also a type of signal, but something which is not wanted by us, which is something unwanted, is called as noise. So, whenever the information or the modulated signal is used to travel from over the channel, then noise gets added to the information. At the receiver, now that information will be received in the modulated form. So, at the receiver, what we used to receive, what we have transmitted the modulated signal. When it travels over the channel, then at the receiver, what we used to receive? We used to receive information So, what we used to receive at the receiver, we used to receive modulated signal, that is our information, and noise. Okay. So, at the receiver, what is used to be done? The demodulation of the signal is used to be performed. What is demodulation? At the modulation, at this transmitter, what we have performed? We have performed modulation. What is modulation? The conversion of low frequency signal into a high frequency signal. So, at the receiver, when we are receiving our information, we need to demodulate our signal. What is demodulation? It is just the reverse of modulation to get the original signal back from the modulated signal. After retrieving the signal back from the modulated signal, there will be a output transducer. What is the function of output transducer? Is to convert back the received information or the received electrical signal into the original information, and finally we will be able to receive our message or information in the form that we have transmitted. In this communication system, here this channel over which our signal or the information or the modulated signal is used to travel, this channel can be of two types. This channel can be a wired medium, this channel can be a wireless medium. What is wired medium? If we are using cable, coaxial cable, optical fiber cable, or any kind of cable, any kind of physical medium if we are using, then the channel is said to be wired channel. If we are transmitting information wirelessly, that means without using any wires, if we are transmitting our information with the help of antennas, if our information or the modulated signal is traveling in free space, then the channel is said to be wireless channel. So, this channel can be wired also, it can be wireless also. So, this is the complete communication system where starting from the raw information and then converting it into a suitable form, we used to get information at the another point. So from now we are going to discuss the component of this communication system in detail. So the very first important component of this communication system is modulation, which is a very important part of the communication system. Before understanding modulation, let us discuss some technical terms that we are going to use to understand the concept of modulation. Baseband versus modulated signal. What is a baseband signal or a baseband transmission, or a modulated signal or a passband signal, or the passband transmission? What is a baseband signal? A baseband signal is the modulating signal. Our message signal or the information is also called as modulating signal, the signal whose modulation is used to be done. So a baseband signal is a modulating signal, which is nothing, is our information signal or the message signal, either in analog form or in digital form, that is need to be communicated. The baseband signal is generally a low frequency signal. The transmission of original information, whether it is analog or whether it is digital, without performing modulation, that means without converting a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal, the direct transmission of the masses or the information is called as baseband transmission. What is modulated signal? Modulated signal is a baseband signal which its original frequency is shifted to higher frequency to achieve efficient and reliable information transmission. It is nothing, it is the conversion of low frequency baseband signal into a high frequency modulated signal. So if we are sending our information after shifting its frequency to some higher frequency, then it is called as passband transmission. Okay. So what is baseband and what is modulated signal? Baseband signal is nothing, it is a low frequency message signal in its original form. What is a passband signal or a modulated signal? It is a signal that we used to get after converting a low frequency signal into higher frequency signal, or in generally high frequency signal is used to be called as passband signal. Now the very important thing that we are the very important term that we are using from the very starting, that is modulation. What is actually modulation? What is the need of modulation in communication? So let us understand the concept of modulation now in detail. What we are saying that the masses or the information is generally a low frequency signal which is not compatible to communicate over long distance directly. So we need to convert a message signal which is generally a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal. The process with the help of which we can perform this conversion is called as modulation. There are so many definitions of modulation. The very simple definition of modulation is what? The process of converting a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal. This conversion we can done in several ways. So what is the very basic method with the help of which we can do this kind of conversion? Modulation we can define as a process in which some characteristics, amplitude, phase or frequency of a high frequency carrier signal is changed according to the instantaneous value of the information or the message signal or the baseband signal. So modulation is the operation performed at the transmitter to achieve efficient and reliable information transmission. How we can perform this modulation? What are the steps that we need to perform to do this modulation? What are the different types of modulation? And the very important question, why we need this modulation? We will discuss in our next video lecture. Thank you everyone.